Welcome back to welcome back to another episode of Stock to Brock. Now, when we left off last time, we said that we wanted to make the exhaust match the engine. Well, how do we do that? Check this out. Look how simple this is. We happen to have a titanium Predator exhaust on our GSX-R right now. There it is. This system's also available in stainless now to save some money. Then you select our BrockFLASH, which is our in-house flash service that we are introducing with this particular model. It's got a release form. You go down to the release form. You've got legalese, blah, 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 closed course competition use only, you know, all kinds of little things you need to know. Put your order number in here, put your initials there, put your name, sign it, date it, put it in the box with your ECU when you send it to us. Then go over here. We had mentioned we're going to use a PC5, and we are. Why do we like the PC5? They are very simple and they're very flexible. So you can order your PC5, you go over here, you select your map, street map, track map, which was made here in the Brock's Performance Dyno room, and you're done. Stuff shows up, flash forward, exhaust on the bike. You can see the titanium turning a beautiful blue color. Your BrockFLASH, click it in. It's very simple on this bike, as I mentioned. Here's your power commander, and if you look on the back, boom, there's a tag saying that we put the map in, and it was what you selected. So, voila, you're done. Go fast. Oh, how fast? Check this out. If you remember in stock form, the best power we made was 166 horsepower. Well, now, still same pump gas, we're at 193, right? So almost 30 horsepower peak to peak, which is fantastic. And look over here in the overrev. Wow, 155 to 193, just giant gains up top. It's a completely different motorcycle, and the air fuel is nice and flat, hard to see right here, but it's nice and flat, gives the bike wonderful drivability, good fuel mileage, wonderful partial throttle acceleration. Acceleration's the key to winning races. So, that's it. Place your order, we do the work, we send you your stuff back, and you're done. How simple was that? Until next time, I'm Brock from Brock's Performance. We'll see you then. Oh, hi. Did some of you want to see how we did this? How we got the numbers? What good is a power commander with no map? What good is an ECU flash if it doesn't do what we said, which is make the pipe and engine work together unrestricted? Well, for you impatient types, you're not going to like this, because there's a tremendous amount of work involved to get to this particular combination, and this is only the beginning of our advanced combinations. For you who thirst for content, you're going to like this. It's a little technical. Actually, it's a lot technical, but you know how we do it. We'll make it understandable for everybody. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get the bike ready, and then I'll show you exactly where we plan to go for our next advanced combination right now. Merriam-Webster defines a race as a contest of speed. Now, am I the kind of guy that would say the dictionary's wrong? No. Faster bike's faster bike. But let me tell you how it really works in our world. If you have a faster bike and you have a huge distance and you can eventually get there, then you're faster. But usually what happens is, especially for us drag racers, we're more concerned about acceleration than we are how fast we're going when we cross the finish line. We just want to get there first. We want to win the race. So how do we do that? Of course, additional horsepower helps, and additional torque too. We have a little saying that says, torque is the force that accelerates the vehicle, horsepower keeps it going. Now, that's just something for you to remember and think about. But that's really what's going on. That's what makes acceleration. So, do we want the most horsepower we can get? Oh yeah, sure, everybody loves it. How much horsepower does your bike make? It makes this much. I'm higher than you, I'm faster. But the reality is you can have a bike, two bikes with the same horsepower, But if one out accelerates the other one due to mapping or ECU flash or, you know, any number of combinations, that bike that out accelerates the other one is more than likely going to win the race, apples to apples. So let me show you something. We just had, you know, when we had this dyno chart up, we were explaining how horsepower helped. Of course, we have a torque gain everywhere. But what I want you to look at here, this is an RPM graph. Look what happens when I change this to time. Now, granted, this is an extreme instance where we picked up a bunch of horsepower. So look at this. And what we're trying to say is that in stock form, these runs took 8 seconds. Modified, 6.7. Wow. Obviously, our changes made the bike accelerate much, much quicker than before the changes. Did we make more horsepower? Yes. And, you know, that's what accelerates the drums. So they are relevant. But it's that acceleration and how you get to it that really matters. Now, I'm going to pull up a couple more charts just to show you a little something. Okay, so let me show you something. Ignore the peak numbers that they're not the same, all right? Different day, different stuff. And this is actually some testing that I wanted to do just to show you, make my point. We've got two runs, right? 189.35 and 189.33. From a technical standpoint, we have the exact same horsepower. But look down here at the air fuel. On the blue run, the bike is lean, it goes down, then it goes way rich, then it goes lean again, and then it's okay up top. Whereas the red run has our mapping in it from our power commander, which is adjusting the fuel. Look how much straighter that is. So, does that result in a bunch of extra horsepower? These are two runs back to back. All we did was switch the mapping around a little bit. Well, watch what happens here when we go to time. Same horsepower, but the bike that had the map in it, it took 5.2 seconds to make the run. The bike that was running lean rich, lean rich, lean rich, it took 5.44 seconds. So obviously, the bike that had the map in it versus lean rich, out accelerated. Well, I say the bike, but this bike out accelerated one map versus the other. And to the tune of 0.2 of a second. Well, that's only in fifth gear. So if you think about that, if you're a racer, you've ever been to the drag strip and know what 0.2 of a second is, it's huge. And if my bike accelerates just that little much quicker in each gear than the guy next to me, if we're the same weight, we're the same size, apples to apples, the bike's going to be faster that accelerates the quickest. So I'm going to show you how we straighten these up. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to go back to stock. Now, I'm not going to bore you with, you know, horsepower numbers. We know how much horsepower the bike makes. What I'm going to show you is what the bike runs like in the stock condition as far as lean rich, versus we're going to slap a flash ECU in there and a PC5 and show you how much nicer it rides and accelerates at different throttle positions. This is only 100%. What's it do at 80? What's it do at 70? What's it do at 60, 40, 20? What's it do down low? Is the bike rideable? And we can show you all of these things fairly easily. And we're going to do that right now. For the demonstration on drivability and acceleration, we really need to digress a little bit, just for a minute. If you come over here, and I wanted to point this out, we've had people say, how do you get these connectors off? Put your thumb there, push it back, there, back. Our flashed ECU is removed. This is our original stock ECU that's never been flashed. We've been leaving it in this form. Click, click, done. Now, power commander, why do we like them? Man, these things are just so simple. Got a regular micro USB connector. The other end goes into your USB port. Come over here to your power commander icon and click Get Map. Now, we've already installed the zero map in the Power Commander just for simplicity. So we have effectively removed any fuel mapping from the Power Commander. It's basically the same as taking it off the bike. One thing I want to point out, it gets a little confusing because we use the term map for the Power Commander fuel mapping, and we also use the term map to map the ECU. So when we put all zeros in there, does that mean there's no map controlling the fueling of this bike? Well, no, of course not. It wouldn't run. So if we come over here and look at our, this is the fuel mapping in the stock ECU, you can see there's numbers in here. It's adding fuel, it's subtracting fuel when the throttle blade's closed. It's doing what it's supposed to do. The problem is that matches the stock exhaust and converter to the bike, and that's not what we want to do. One other thing. Some of our customers believe that because the bike comes with an O2 sensor, that it maps itself. I actually had people say, hey Brock, I put your pipe on, I went for a drive, it fixed itself, and now it runs perfectly. Yeah, that's not how it works. It's a placebo. It does self-map, but only at lower RPMs and cruising speeds. That's something that we actually remove in the flash. But for this demonstration of drivability, what happens? You got your pipe on, you got a Power Commander, you got your O2 sensor on. When we go for a ride, is this bike going to be lean rich, or is it going to be in the tuned area where it makes maximum power? Well, I want to demonstrate that right now, and that's what we're going to do. I'm pulling up our WinPep program. It's WinPep 8. It's Dynojet's latest, greatest. I'm going to pull up this our dyno screen. And when I take the bike for a ride, what I want you to watch, just watch in here. The air fuel, what we're looking for is the air fuel in the green. When we go for a ride, just with the pipe on, the O2 sensor connected, I want to show you what happens as we go for a ride. So we're going to get all set up here, go for a quick ride, and just let you watch this. I'm just going to go for a ride to warm the bike up. It's a little bit cold right now. So we were on the cold start mapping before. Now that the bike's warmed up and the thermostat kicked open, you can see here in an idle we're pretty lean. I'm going to go just for a ride, and I want you to watch. I'm going to use my pointer. Watch here and see whether or not we're keeping a nice straight air fuel as we just go for a simple ride to test acceleration. Make sure you also watch our RPM, so that gives you an idea. What you're going to find is at leaner speeds, here we are, or lower speeds, it's much definitely leaner, just drivability wise. So we're cruising along at I'm in the second gear. I'm going 30 miles an hour. And you can see, it's not terrible. But as we progress, you're going to get little spikes after I shift. Now, right now, 65 miles an hour. I'm in third gear. We're 15 to 1. I'm in fifth gear. Let's put her back down to highway speeds.
Okay, 55. We're over here at almost 15 to 1. Speed it up a little bit. Go to 60. Very lean. Now, if we give it gas and really get into it, you can see that it was definitely in the lean range, bouncing around all over. Didn't really matter which gear we're in. I don't have an auto blooper on this bike yet. Turn the fans on. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take off here in first gear, just like I'm going for a ride. That was fourth gear, and if you noticed, as we got higher, closer to the rev limiter, the bike richened up, which is good. Even with the stock ECU, makes you think that Suzuki might have had an idea that there could be a pipe going on here, but more than likely, it's just for longevity. Now, right now I'm cruising along, less than 30 miles an hour. I'm at drivability, 2 and 3%. Look how lean we are. And I don't know if you can see, if you can come down here and look at the bike. But it is most definitely not smooth. If you look up here, we were up in the red a little bit. And this bike is stumbling all over the place. I'm going to open up Dynojet's C3 tuning program. It's really trick, gives us all kinds of things we can do. Well, let's go look at the map. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add some fuel in the drivability range. Let's just pick here. Let's add 10%. That should add 11, 12. It doesn't matter. We'll send this, and then we'll go for a ride and see what happens. So now we have mapping in the Power Commander, and we're going to go for a little ride. So if we added fuel in this area, why are we still very, very, very lean and it doesn't look like we've gotten any richer? Because the stock O2 sensor's job is to keep it lean. So we can add fuel to our Power Commander all we want, and the ECU is going to automatically go in and correct those changes.
Well, that was sort of interesting, wasn't it? Now that we've seen how the bike self-tunes for emissions, if your bike's set up similar to this, what do? Well, we're going to go ahead and put our flashed ECU back in. I removed the stock one already. And then I want to talk a little bit about some of the more advanced tuning. So if you go to Brock's Performance and you have one of our exhaust systems, and I'm not trying to sound like a commercial. We're not. You can buy our stuff. You can not. I mean, we prefer you did, but we're just showing you how we do it here. You could come to this form, tell us what exhaust you have. It lets you pick all kinds of options. Which exhaust do you have? You know, you got a Predator, Alien Head, CT, doesn't matter. Do you have baffle inserts? What kind of fuel injection control unit? What kind of ECU flash? You know, we've got a BrockFLASH ECU. You go down, you hit submit, and within a couple business days, and usually we try to get it better than that, you'll get an email. And that email's from our map support program, sending you the map that you need for your bike. Now it's got all kinds of info in here, what to do, what not to do, competition use only policy. So you got a street style map, you got a pump track map. That's basically for guys who don't want to spend the money to run the track map, which is usually MR12, which is some expensive fuel, but if you want to go faster, it's our fuel of choice. Well, you'll notice we've got a street map and a track map available in our a pump track in our system. We don't have a track map yet. We're going to make that. But until then, I want to show you how easy it is. Save that to your desktop. Predator pump track map. We're saving it to our desktop. Now, I'm just going to go over, get in my PC5 program. We're already clicked into the Power Commander. You can see there's where we had just added the fuel. So we go to Open Map, go to our desktop, Predator Pump Track, open. We click send, and you can watch. You'll get a little indication. Boom. That's our map. Now, if we go to Get Map, that just confirms that the map is in the Power Commander. It's just that simple. We've done all this work. We created these maps. We created the map that matches this pipe to this ECU flash. I'm just going to go do another drive real quickly to show you the difference. And remember, this isn't about horsepower. This is about acceleration. This is, does my bike, is it smoother? Does it accelerate quicker? That's what this is about. The horsepower is going to be there automatically. But I just want to show drivability for now. So I'm going to put our flash back in. Flash ECU. Come in. Presto. The flash is in there. The map's in the Power Commander. Let's go for a drive.
Okay, here we go. We've got our flash ECU in. We've got our pump track map. And we're just going to go for a ride same way we did before. Notice how it's staying in the green. More throttle. All right, so that was through the gears. Now, if I could get the cameraman to come over, because we had a little something going on there. If you could come over and take a look. That was with the stock O2 sensor still connected. Well, we don't need it. It's not doing anything. So we'll go ahead, just disconnect that, come over here and go for another quick ride just to show you. Okay, let's go for a ride and see what we've got. Darn good. Just for the heck of it, let's try a dyno pull. Looky there. Even heat soaked. With all that heat in the engine from this riding, 191 horsepower. That's pretty good. Correction factor today is 1.01. So even though the humidity's down a little bit, our pressure's not good. So I'm very happy with that. Bike's been, for those of you horsepower nuts, the bike has been in the 191, 192, 193 range forever. And if you look, we have 219 dyno runs on this bike. So for those of you that are wondering what we're doing when we're not showing you videos, we're developing products. So the thing's got a ton of passes on it. So you know, our S1000RR Christine has over 1,000 dyno pulls, and it'll typically take us around 400 by the time we're finished with product development.
Well, that was fun. What did we learn? Acceleration is king. So the OEM bike does an ECU, does a fairly decent job. Like I said, it's okay. We're detail freaks. We want to extract the best performance, the best acceleration possible out of the motorcycle. And in order to do that, it has to have a nice straight air fuel curve, and it has to have it all the way through the RPM range. Plus, from a drivability standpoint, the bike is just, it's much nicer to drive. And it doesn't matter if you're a drag racer and you take off and you've got to hover the front wheel 2 inches off the ground. Well, you can't do that if the map is flying all over the place, especially on a throttle-by-wire bike. They're almost impossible. If you like to road race, well, if you're coming out of a corner and you go to apply power and the bike's going lean rich, lean rich, lean rich, it upsets the chassis. You don't accelerate as quickly. It's going to be far more difficult for you to ride the bike and win the race. And as far as street stuff goes, we all know that this stuff is for competition use only, every bit of it. I might want to mention that your bike doesn't know where its wheels are rolling. So, let's look at something here. How did we get to where we just were? Well, here's a map, and look at these numbers. Really lean here at 2%, 5% gets richer. How can you have a difference between 22 and 4, for the sake of argument, we'll call this percentage, 22% additional fuel, and only 250 RPM later, you only need 4%. When you come over here in the higher ranges, I mean, it gets even worse than that. Look at this. We got a 4, and then, 1,000 RPM later, we're at 45. Where do those numbers come from? They don't just magically appear, I can tell you that. A power commander without a good map is pretty much useless. So you have to have the correct numbers. Now, what do these numbers mean? And for any of you out there that have ever played with your dirt bike, imagine a 1-gallon bag full of jets, the jets that change the fueling. All of them have different holes, but none of them have sizes. Where would you be? Absolutely lost, right? You can't guess your way into, I need this much more fuel here and this much less here and so forth. So that's what we're going to show you now. And it can get a little bit detailed, so what I want to do, instead of talking about it, I'm going to show you how we set the bike up on the dyno, how we get ready to do all of our testing, and then we're going to go ahead and make that track map with some MR12 fuel just to show you how we do it and what kind of results we get with that. And like I said, these are all combinations. You don't want to run MR12 fuel, don't do it. Don't worry about it. Just run pump gas. We run MR12. We run sprint filters. We do the things that we do. You can follow your own path, and that's fine. I can tell you that, some people might be saying, hey, Brock, why should we even listen to you? Well, before we get into the next video, I'll give you some of my credentials, what we've done in the past, and we'll show you what's going on. But this video is running too long. We're going to split it up into a part 2. Hopefully that'll be the end of tuning on the Power Commander. But we're just going to keep going until this bike is all the way finished and running exactly how we want it to run. So I'll see you here in a little bit when we do that next map.